These ladies are hot. They're so very hot.
If you think this is okay, you are literally mad. I can't believe things like this actually exist. Hello everybody, it is Maria, and today has been such a weird day, but I wanted to talk about the Black Lives Matter. Honestly, I 100% support this cause because it is about time that people treated us right. Like, I don't understand why the color of my skin has to determine like whether I live or die, or whether I get treated like I should like be treated by every person. Like, I don't, it's really hurts me to see what's going on in the world right now. Like, it's really hard to process into words, but if you don't know what is happening, you must be living under a rock, and you need to get out that rock because it is important you use your voice. But what is happening is there was a man called George Floyd, and you know, he was just doing his casual everyday shit and what's not, and he went to a store, he was buying some things is what I assume, and then this man, you know, is paying for his stuff, and then apparently this man accuses him of writing a fake check or something. So it was like a fake signature, as far as this is what I know. I find that really baffling, how you're just judging someone's signature. Like, I don't know what that problem is, but aside from that, he calls the police, and the police basically, they don't treat him well. They treat him as if he's armed with a gun and what's not. And this white officer, which I think his name is, I don't know what his name is, but hopefully I'm gonna pop it up somewhere because this is just ridiculous, kneels on his neck. So he's on the floor with his hands on his back, and they've cuffed him, and this white officer kneels on his neck for what I have heard is 8 minutes and 42 seconds. 8 minutes of getting kneeled on. And he's saying, and what people be saying is, he was saying in the video is, I can't breathe, please, your knee on my neck, I can't breathe. I couldn't even get through the first bit of the video because it just disgusted me that this is the world we live in. Like, it is 2020 and you still are being rude to blacks, to Asians, to Chinese, to other races. Why does our race bother you? We are totally different people. Like, I don't understand why you need to discriminate and be racist, and the fact that people are openly racist and have no shame, yet they get called out and they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Honey, you meant to. Like, you're not sorry you were racist, you're sorry that you got caught for being racist. That was a tweet I saw from Sky Jackson. Honestly, Sky Jackson, the Disney star Sky Jackson, she really cares about people in the world, and she calls out these people. Like, when I tell you Twitter is better than an FBI agent, you wouldn't even know. Like, these people find your email address, they find your school, they find your Instagram, they find your Snapchat. They will find everything, your mom's email as well, and come to ruin your life. And honestly, I'm sorry, but that's the way it should be. You cannot get away with being racist in the world we live in. That is disgusting. You shouldn't even be racist, period. But still, people are racist. I don't understand why people have to be rude. Like, the color of my skin doesn't determine who I am as a person. You may have had a bad experience with a black person, but that doesn't mean you should be rude and discriminate every black person you encounter. That is not logical. It doesn't make sense. It's a horrible way of thinking, and that should be stopped. It really should, because it's really horrible that there needs to be evidence, there needs to be footage of disgusting things that are happening like that in the world for there to be there to get attention, for the media to know, for people to start protesting, petitions, and for the dead man who did nothing wrong to get justice. There's not enough words to say how baffling and disgusting it is. Like, I can't process it. And it really is really, really sad to say this, but I'm disappointed but not surprised. I don't know why. And no one should ever feel like this. Like, I actually had a racist encounter, which I was literally going to upload a story time on. And this is so convenient that I'm a procrastinator, because all these racist acts are coming out and people are being put in their place. This racist boy in my story, he knows he's being racist. I tell you, he knows. Like, I told him myself he was being racist, and he just had that ugly smug on his face. I get so mad whenever I think about that. I need to erase that memory from my brain. But I do not like what is happening with our world right now. We really need to make a change. This is unacceptable, how the police treat black citizens. Like, your job is to protect people, and you are using violence and using your badge for power and killing people for no reason. And you get away with these things, which shocks me. Why? The guy who killed Derek, who killed George Floyd, apparently, I've heard they were friends, which is even more effed off, because you two are friends, and you as a police officer, you kill this black man who has done nothing. You just got a call saying about this, and if you don't have a backstory about this man, Derek, who killed George Floyd, he actually had 16 other complaints and what's not, and the police covered them all because we haven't heard about it until now. Why is there 16 complaints? Why is there even been past 2 complaints and he's still in work? Why are you a police officer if you're not going to protect everybody, no matter what the crime is, no matter what is going on? I find that horrifying. There isn't any words to describe how I feel. But please support this movement, because this fight is not over. It really isn't. And if you're one of those people being like, all lives matter, please, I tell you to educate yourself first before you make a fool of yourself. Educate yourself, because all lives matter was made against Black Lives Matter, to silence the people that are standing up for what is right, for silencing the people for justice, for getting justice for the families, for their brothers and sisters. These people are living in hell right now, and it's not right. So until Black Lives Matter and until this situation is sorted, all lives will not really matter. And please educate yourself on white privilege. Like, you get away with a lot of things when you're white. I just have to say this. You get away with a lot of things. Like, honestly, I never really thought about my color. I really thought everybody just saw me as I was, as the personality I was. And then my parents, well, mostly my dad, was talking about how there's going to be people out there who are going to try and stop you, who are going to pick on you for every little thing you do because of the color of your skin. But he said it helps me because I've actually lived here. I talk the way they talk. But still, like, I shouldn't have to be like you for you to accept me. You should accept me from the start. I don't know why this is happening, and I think to myself, when will this be over? When will we actually know that we've accomplished and killed racism? But the more we talk about this, the more pressure there is on police forces and what's not to get themselves in check. I personally think these should honestly review their staff, their whole protocol of what their job is. Your job is to protect people. You're not supposed to be killing until you actually need it. And this is speaking for the US. It appalls me that you see a threat and you just shoot. You don't even have a reason. You don't really have any backstory to it. You just see danger and you shoot. A white man killed like 9 people and he was arrested peacefully. Another white man killed 27 people or something in a church. He, again, was arrested peacefully. And a man who's been accused of allegedly selling cigarettes, shot. And a man for a fake forgery, shot. Why do you see black people as a threat? Why do you think that we are going to harm you? Why does my color have to be such a negative thing to you? Obviously, there's very, very small few people, white people in the world that are actually accept black people. You stand with them, you support them, all that stuff. But why? Why do you have to see us as a threat? Why can we not be equal? Why do you just think this is okay? I don't think that's okay at all. And the more and more media coverage of this, the more there could be change, the more protests that's happening. If you are protesting, stay safe. You probably can't social distance, but at least like wear a mask. Know your rights if you get arrested and what's not. And be careful. Honestly, be careful. I honestly would say go with a friend just so that you're comfortable and you look out for each other. But be safe. Because you are doing a good thing. You are protesting for a good cause. And that's really all that matters. But if you are literally on Black Lives Matter for clout, to be part of the trend, the hype, I tell you to get yourself off social media now. Get yourself off social media and educate yourself. See what this is really about. This is not just a trend that's going to stay on for like 3 months and go away. This is an ongoing battle about discrimination, being colored. And do not post one thing about Black Lives Matter and then go around promoting your Instagram. No, this is an ongoing thing. Like, do not just join this because everybody's doing it. I want to be part of the hype. It's the right thing to do. Yes, it's the right thing to do. But know in your heart that you're doing it for a cause. You're doing this because you want to, because it's the right thing to do, because you actually know what is happening. It's sad because white people will never get to experience the racism. Yes, you will never get to experience it. You may never really understand it, but you see people for what they're going through and you support. It is so good to see these peaceful protests, but the police are turning these things unpeaceful. People are kneeling for George Floyd. And then all of a sudden it turns violent, and the police show the press, the media, the news show the violent protests. They never show the peacefulness, the good things that people are doing. Like, this stuff is real and it needs to stop. This needs to be changed because it's 2020. Also, this is like, why is all I can say. The more we talk about this, the more change there can be. So support, educate yourself if this is what you have to do. It is better to admit that you don't know what you're talking about and you search up what to do, how to take part. You can donate, you can protest, you can sign petitions, you can do literally anything. You have your mobile phones, you have the internet. Educate yourself. Google, what is Black Lives Matter about? Why is it there? What can I do to help? The least you can do right now is educate yourself and look out for your people of color, brothers, your sisters, your friends. Make sure they're okay. Like, now is a time to really ask them how they feel. Try and understand what they go through every day. You may not understand, you may not physically go through it, but you can try and understand. Thank you for listening and supporting. hopefully there will be links to information, to petitions. If you are going to the protest this Sunday, 7th of June at 1 p.m. at Princess Street Gardens in Edinburgh, just be safe, know your rights, and just look out for each other because it's an important cause and it needs to be fought. If you cannot see, there is going to be a guy who's literally getting dragged for nothing. Like, he's walking to his car and he literally reviewed prison. So here's a video again from the start. The guy in the white, you can literally see walking to his car, and at this point he said police are just grabbing anybody they can to stop the riots. Another good thing that happened from that video that was recorded was the police officers are now being charged for dragging those students because they basically did nothing, and what they did was like pretty much illegal and it's wrong. And also, just to update, Derek Chauvin, the guy who put his knee on George Floyd, his wife is now leaving him, and she was Miss Minnesota, which is like a pageant competition that America has, like, you know, the Miss Universe, that sort of thing. Anyway, his wife is now leaving him and getting a divorce. Also, when the start of these riots happened, the police basically had a shield to cover up Derek's house. So basically, you're protecting a murderer and you think this is right. And those officers that watched Derek put his knee on George Floyd's neck have also been taken, and their court cases are next week.
Hey man, what are you, stupid? Get off my car, man! Get off! Get off! What's up? You know, I'm about ready to slap that stupid smile off your face.
See, there it is again, the violence.
You think you can get over on anybody, right? Anywhere. No, not me and not today.
Who are you?
That's just it. He's nobody.
No, I am an educated black man, your worst nightmare, punk.
Thank you.
Now that is a black girl worth doing.
Hold on, hang on. You better go, man. Come on, man. Take it easy. Look easy. Look easy. I'm tired, man. I should have sprayed that in your face, man.
Whoa, a confession!
Hold on.
Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. They don't care about this country at all. All they do is sit on their butt and complain.
And what do they have to complain about? It's because of them and their quotas that I'm not in the Ivy League, where I belong.
You all had quotas for centuries. You called them legacies, restricted country clubs, the law.
Oh, hey, my grandfather came to this country with nothing. He couldn't even speak the language. But he worked hard, and he made a place for himself and his family. Now, why can't you people do the same?
Hey, my grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
See you guys next Saturday, then.
As a person who has been given the platform to be an influencer, I have realized that with that title, I have a job to inform people on the racial inequalities in the world right now. How come when it comes to the color of a person's skin, they're treated differently? A man was killed. His life was ended. "Don't kill me," George Floyd says as his last words. His life should not be over, and his name needs to be heard. George Floyd, a father and a person. A human who lost their life because of the color of their skin. We, people of all colors, need to speak up at a time like this. I have also come across lots of people speaking up and saying that the Black Lives Matter fist that many people are using as their profile picture are for the Black community to use only. I have since changed mine back, but I will continue to spread these messages and be an ally. We all have a voice. We need to stand up for what is right and stick together.